Hi everyone, Robert here again for my weekly update video. It's Father's Day, so first off, I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day out there, obviously including my dad, and obviously being a father to my daughter. Obviously, I must have been a good dad. Got the new Newcastle top today, so there's a story linked to that, obviously, with this update video, which I'll go into in a little bit. So first off, I just want to hope everybody's okay and everyone's had a good week, smashing all of their targets. And again, obviously, I just want to say thanks very much for all of your support. Again, everything really means a lot to me, and all your comments really do spur me on, and I've changed some of the way I do things because of what you guys have suggested. So, please by all means keep commenting and sharing your ideas, and together we'll get through this, won't we? We'll do it together. We'll all be skinny minis. How did this week go? Obviously, this was my third week on my first pen of 10 dosage, and I lost another pound and a half. So obviously last week 3.5 pound was a real boost. This week it's a bit harder because obviously I've mentioned before that me and my partner were kind of like out of sync. So we buy our pen like on the third week of the month, so it's always a struggle to find the money for two sets of pens, for two pens obviously. And we've decided to try and extend, so instead of having the dosage on a Saturday like we usually do, we kind of tried to extend it into Wednesday last week, so it was a 10-day break between our dosage from the last one, from second to third. So we had our dosage last week, and then we're going to try and not have our next dosage until next Saturday. So the reason we're doing that is because once we get caught up, then it'll be every 4 weeks and it'll fall on our payday, and it's just so much easier. So I will admit right now that days 8, 9, and 10, obviously after usual dosage every Saturday morning, I found myself feeling a little bit hungrier, but not that much. And I think that's because obviously my body has changed, my attitudes have changed. And if I was snacking a little bit more, which I don't think I was, but if I was snacking a little bit more, I would only have like a packet of the French fry crisps. And I know crisps aren't the greatest thing to have, but that to me was a treat also, sort of thing. And that's all I really found that I was doing. I was having maybe one of them instead of not having them at all, and I'll take that. Do you know what I mean? For obviously having a few days extra where I'm not having obviously any of the Mounjaro, in my body, and well, not as much as it would be, obviously. So yeah, pound and a half. I felt really happy. So I'm now, only I think I'm a pound and a half away from 2.5 stone, and I feel like I'll get there, and my ultimate target is to be 3.5 down by the time I go on holiday at the end of July. Obviously, I've mentioned we go to Tenerife. So yeah, I'm really pleased. It's been another good week. But I just wanted to share that little story about obviously going a little bit, a few more days longer without the dosage. It's not really not really been a struggle. But obviously the little story, obviously about the Newcastle top was because I've been a good dad this year. I'm always a good dad. Obviously my partner and my daughter got me the new Newcastle top. Obviously, being a Newcastle fan, obviously, which is lovely. I woke up this morning to that, and the story I wanted to go on to that is. I bought obviously all three of the tops last year when they came out, obviously since Newcastle switched to Adidas. And I was just in a 4XL. I'm not ashamed to admit it, I'm a big lad, I was in a 4XL last year. This year I'm in a 3XL, and that's a win, a massive win for me, and I'm really pleased. And we went to Metro Centre the day after the shop went on, the top went on sale, and I tried it on and tried the 4X, and I tried the 3X, and the 4X I tried on first, and my missus said, that looks really big on you. And I thought, the 3X will not fit, it'll be like dead tight, but no, it was absolutely perfect fit, and I'm so pleased. It's a little win like that. This t-shirt, I bought these t-shirts from Next, because I'm not again, it's another story, but going into obviously being a bigger lad and feeling anxious about stuff, I found that I would just buy like bigger men's clothes from like Giacomo and things like that, and you don't put as much thought and love into going to the clothes shop. And I used to love, getting paid and popping into town, buying a few, nice pair of jeans, couple of t-shirts, make yourself feel fresh. Do you know what I mean? And I used to love doing that. And obviously, as you get bigger and you go into the shops, they don't have my size and things like that. So you'd buy a lot of your clothes online. So going back to that, obviously we went to Florida last year. Obviously I bought a lot of clothes for the holiday. This, obviously, as I say, from Next was one that I got online, and I've never worn it because my belly would hang out the bottom of it, which wasn't quite big enough. But now it fits perfect, and these things are just, it improves your mental health so much. And going off last week's video when I was telling you about how I felt anxious about going to Benidorm, these little wins that I'm getting every week now, I'm noticing differences in my clothes, and I'm noticing differences when I go walking. I'm not out of breath as much as I used to be, and I'm feeling every week just happier and happier in myself, and that's all thanks to not all down to Mounjaro. I'm not going to say this is like a miracle drug, but it's took away the need to be a pig. I'm going to be honest. Go to the fridge and gorge on chocolate bars and packets of crisps, and all that snacking is what caused me to gain a lot of weight, and obviously a lot of wrong choices with meals, and having plates that were far too big to satisfy the appetite. Now obviously my portions are what I can manage, and I don't want any more. Do you know what I mean? And like me and my missus still try and like follow like a Slim and World kind of like diet with like food, and obviously we're trying to have obviously a lot more protein, obviously, is what they mentioned, but in the mains, like we have like the fakeaways. So last night we had like these protein bread based, like like pizza dough sort of things, but we just made our own pizzas last night, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, I love getting a takeaway pizza as much as the next bloke. I love a Domino's or whatever, but that tasted just as nice to me, and I didn't feel like I was missing out. And when she makes a curry or whatever, and it didn't feel like I'm missing out. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't get the odd takeaway, because you do, you treat yourself. But I don't eat anywhere near as much. And like you say, I feel better in myself. I'm happier, and I know that there's still a way to go, and I'll feel happier, even better in a month's time, and hopefully I can share that with everybody. But again, I just want to, like, I get the odd comment still of people who are just starting their journey and are scared, or they're a couple of weeks in and they might not be sure, and you're in safe hands. There's a big community on YouTube, and I didn't realize, and I'm thankful to everybody. And and if you want to hear stories from people like me, go and look at all the comments on my videos and people's videos, and just look at the channels, and watch the content, and hear people's stories. And it's inspiring, and it's people, you guys are still inspiring me, and I'm really thankful, and I'm really pleased, as I say, with where I am in my journey. But it's a positive video today, I hope. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the Father's Day. I hope everybody who is a father, even if you're not a father to a human, you're might be a cat dad, I know people are waiting to see Dexter make his debut. He's lying on the floor in the sun. You know, he's not quite ready to make his debut, and I have tried to lure him up, but he's you know, without a couple of treats on the table, he's not going to come. So his debut will have to wait. But again, obviously, like I say, happy Father's Day. It doesn't matter if you're a cat dad or a dog dad or whatever, you're still a dad, you know what I mean? So hope you have a restful day with those feet up, and enjoy. And to everybody else, thanks again for watching. And I'll speak to you all next week.